Welcome to the 16th installment of Renée and Darryl's Walt Disney World Honeymoon. I'm Renée.
And I'm Darryl. For those of you joining us for the first time, we're a middle-aged, newlywed couple planning our honeymoon to the world for the 2019 Epcot Flower and Garden Festival. Now, I should disclose that I have Disney Stock and Retirement Fund, and I'm a Disney Visa card holder. Now, as I've said before, that first doesn't do me any good, but the second does give me some discounts and stuff like that. So we are planning on using that. And in fact, we already did take advantage of some of the points on that to send a gift card down to a friend who's going to get us some pins when she's down there.
Thank you, friend.
But we are planning on streaming these vlogs most Wednesday nights. And most of the time, that's going to be from here, my Geo Gearheads podcast studio.
I think we will be there at least one Wednesday so we can maybe live stream from Florida.
Well, and hopefully we'll do
Won't be studio quality, but it might be fun.
But hopefully we'll do some live streams from the park, including I really want to try doing some live 360s.
That'll be fun.
From the park.
And from your new 360 camera.
Yes.
Yes.
Which I still got to get connected up and working. I did get the firmware upgraded at least.
That is a good start.
That's all I've done.
It's a good, well, at least we have a couple months. Yeah. But tonight we're going to talk about things we're looking forward to experiencing in the 2019 Epcot Flower and Garden Festival. Hopefully, we really only have to go on what they had last year so far.
Well, in the previous years, because it does change from year to year.
But some things stay the same.
Yeah. And obviously, there's a bunch of flower and garden stuff there. That's why it's the Flower and Garden Festival.
Makes sense.
But the reason that I really got motivated to go to this, I enjoy the flowers, the topiaries, that kind of stuff.
They're fun.
But several of the podcasters that I was listening to said that this is the festival to go to at Epcot.
Why?
It has a lot of the food from the Flower and Garden, or from the Food and Wine Festival.
It's a good thing we like food.
Well, but it has a lot of the cool food.
Right.
It's not generally as expensive, and it's
the
lot.
Food or
the food.
Okay.
The food, and the crowds are much smaller.
Interesting.
And
That's
because
good.
It's not all about the food and drinking, there's a lot more other stuff to do. So it's not just like a big restaurant, which at the time they were complaining Food and Wine had turned into. So World Showcase became just,
big restaurant.
One block of food
foods.
After another. Hi, Larry. Larry's watching.
Hi, Larry.
So I want to start off with the attractions, if you will. The things like the topiaries.
Okay.
And I really kind of thought these were cool and long, but there was a video a few years back from the Disney Park blog.
Okay.
That kind of went over some of the work that goes into this and how they take years in some cases to get these prepped.
Oh, very nice.
Well, in some cases they're growing like trees and whatnot, but I think from what I've seen recently, they've gone to something that's a little bit easier to maintain than that. But there are like the trees that they're doing in the parks that are permanently there that are these like long-term topiaries.
So
the ones
some
that
things
they put out for this are not so much.
Oh, do some of the ones they do for this get moved to the parks?
No, this is all one-time use kind of stuff. I believe from some of the stuff that I've seen that they are actually, in many cases, reusing the same like skeletons year after year and just replanting them. Because they have to build the wire skeletons for the topiaries.
Okay.
But I want to see Figment.
Of course you do.
He's not there every year.
He's not?
No, but he
How
seems
do you know
to be
when
coming
he's going
back.
To be there?
I don't think until they actually start making the announcements, which I would assume, I don't know, but I would assume the announcements are going to be coming
like in January.
In the mid-January time frame.
Okay.
So that's,
I know last year they had a really cool Figment shirt. So like the whole shirt was one color and then it like that color changing or something, and Figment turned from white to purple. It was a white shirt and then he turned purple out in the sun.
I don't remember
something like that. That was
on, doing a lot
might not have been
lately.
Last year. I was watching a lot of the vloggers.
Well, and part of it is the push to bring back a lot of those old characters and the experiences that people grew up with at the parks and want to see again. So the word is the new, I think it's only temporary show that's going to replace the Why can I not remember the show that's at Epcot right now? It's the Reflections of Earth or something like that. That's not the right name.
Visions of Earth, or
no, I think it's yeah. Anyways, they're the new show that they're going to put in temporarily till the new show comes in is supposed to have a lot of the old characters making an appearance.
Oh, that's fun. Cameos. Like Stan Lee used to do.
And they actually mention Figment and Dreamfinder. And Dreamfinder,
he hasn't been
as far
around
as I know,
in a while.
has not been in the parks for over a decade.
Wow.
They did have a period where they brought a Dreamfinder character back, like a meet and greet character.
Oh, interesting.
And that was a whole thing that, and we're totally off the subject now.
We are.
But that was a whole thing that I really liked at Epcot when I was a kid, going for the first and only time that it was at Epcot, was the Imagination Pavilion. That was everything. It had the jumping fountains. It had the cool guy that had the dragon with the balloon. And, that was, to me, what Epcot was.
Okay.
Yeah, the rest of the stuff was cool, but Figment was my mom's favorite.
Okay.
And the Dreamfinder was walking around the parks with a Figment puppet.
That's awesome.
It was so cool.
You want a Figment puppet?
I kind of do. But not if he has the stupid voice that he has now, because he's just annoying.
I have to be honest that I didn't really know Figment until you told me who he was.
No, and he's one of those characters that was invented for the parks.
Right, and I have not been there. Well, okay, I've been there once, as we've discussed many times.
Never been to Epcot.
I've never been to Epcot because it didn't exist when I was there.
And Epcot's the only place that you can see Figment.
Got it.
Anyway.
Okay.
So yeah, I definitely want to see that.
So that's a big attraction. It's kind of on subject.
Yeah.
A little bit.
But it's not one of the attractions of the Flower and Garden Festival aside from the topiary, which is what we were talking about.
Because he's made, as far as from a lot of the vlogs I've watched and different things about Garden Festival or Flower and Garden Festival, he appears a lot in gardens, either as a topiary or as, what was that
but
cool,
I think that's,
like almost like a garden gnome.
Yeah, right. We'll get into some of the merchandise stuff probably later.
Probably.
But that's kind of getting back to there's the push to bring back some of those beloved characters from the Epcot history.
Okay.
So that is one of them that's made the comeback. And I don't recall from the earlier stuff I've seen on Flower and Garden that Figment was a big player.
Oh.
And it depends a lot on what the movie is that year.
How long has Flower and Garden been going on?
I think this year was a 12th year.
Okay.
I'm just guessing.
Okay.
But it's not as old as Food and Wine Festival was.
How old is Food and Wine?
That's what I was trying to figure out.
I don't think it says on our shirts.
No, I don't think so either.
Does it say anything on the back?
No, just the city countries.
Okay.
Cities. But in any
cities
case,
in the countries.
Going back to the topiaries.
Yes.
They usually had the Fantasia with the
that's always been one of my favorites.
Buckets with the flowers in them, and that I always thought that was just cool.
That is cool. Do you remember at Eastern that when my mom used to work at the movie theaters and I had the whole standee from, we called it a standee, the cardboard cutouts from the movie? Do you remember when I had all of those?
I remember.
I had the whole Fantasia ones.
I don't remember actually seeing them set up.
Oh, they were set up. Well, they were probably more on the walls than standing because my room was not very big. No, but they were on the walls and there were sparkles involved, which in the days of today would probably be a problem. You'd go home with sparkles all the time.
Probably.
I got to work today. I didn't even touch anything. And someone goes, Renee, you have sparkles all over your face. I'm like, I don't even know where sparkles were. They were all over all like in my hair. I don't even remember touching anything with sparkles today. And I have no idea where it came from. So I think I've caught that from you.
Uh-oh.
Sparkles are attracted to me.
Anyway. So yeah, the topiaries are cool. I'm not sure what they're going to do this year. They usually do something around the movie release for that year. So
what's the movie release this year?
I don't know what the movie release this year was or is going to be this year. I do remember they had a bunch of Incredibles stuff.
Of course.
And I thought they were cool.
I'm sure.
I like them. Now, some of the topiaries I've seen really aren't so...
I like how some of them are really colorful and some of them are really just all green, but still really cool.
Yeah. Well, and the Beauty and the Beast this year looked really good.
It really did. Was that from this year? Like,
I thought it was this
year.
Did
they do some topiaries for Food and Wine?
I think they
And they kind of stick around?
No. They pull them out, I think.
I have no idea.
Because there's a big time difference between the two.
That's true. Because Food and Wine ended after Thanksgiving or right around Thanksgiving.
No, Food and Wine wrapped up closer to Halloween, I thought.
Oh.
I might be wrong.
Okay.
I don't remember. But yeah, one is like a spring festival. The other's like the fall festival.
Okay. And I know they have a January something.
Yeah, the January is the Artist Festival.
The Artist one. I am kind of interested in that because there's a lot of...
Yeah, that's new. This is only the third year, I think, for the Festival of the Arts. And honestly, had I known more about that one, I might have made plans for that instead.
That's okay.
I think I'm still going to like the Flower and Garden Festival better.
Probably.
But for a repeat, because this is also the first time you're going to be there, period.
Right.
So, yeah.
Maybe next time we'll do something else.
The Flower and Garden Festival is something I can probably walk through and enjoy. Whereas the Festival of the Arts, I really get the impression I have to spend time to enjoy.
Right. So maybe next time.
Yeah, for another visit, we'll do the Artist Festival. But there's other things like you were really excited about the Butterfly Garden.
It was cool because it was like real butterflies and butterfly topiaries, and it was super cool and bright, which I found out by wearing one of your bike jackets, but not like cycling jackets. Thank you, because it's just not biker jacket is what I wanted to call it. But I wore your cycling rain jacket that one day, and it was like the brightest thing I think I've ever worn. And the butterflies landed on me, which was just really cool.
Detroit Zoo.
At the Detroit Zoo. Yeah. That was super cool. So I don't necessarily expect that to have been there. I don't plan on wearing any really super bright colors out, but you never know. But it was really cool because the topiaries were like big butterflies, and I think butterflies are pretty.
Yeah, definitely. So it's not like that's something you don't get to experience.
Right.
Oh, Larry said that the Food and Wine Festival ended on November 12th.
Okay, so it was. We were both wrong. It was somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, significantly after
Halloween,
and significantly before Thanksgiving.
Exactly. So what I'm wondering is, like, I know at the Artist Festival they have a lot of demos. So I'm wondering if they're gonna create any of the topiary for us to see, like watch them do, or mini versions.
They actually do have some behind the scenes stuff that will let you see that kind of thing.
Oh.
But the demos that you're going to get as part of that are more like here's some tips for doing a sustainable garden. How to use a rain barrel and make it part of your life, and how to do. I think they do have some classes, not so much the demos, but I think you can actually pay for some of the classes, because I want to say there was one that made like little topiaries that are like chia pet size.
I want one.
Well, you can actually buy the like little chia pet topiaries.
No, I want to make one. It's kind of like painting with a twist.
Yeah.
But one thing I did see, speaking of the rain barrels, is there was one weekend where they were doing. It wasn't really a class. It wasn't really a demo, but everyone could get in on it. You can paint some of the rain barrels that they use to, collect the rain and do things like that, which was really cool. And they had stencils, or you could freehand, and just so you were part of it. So they only do it one weekend out of the whole festival, and then the rain barrels stay like that. It was pretty cool too.
Well, but those went out to places all around Florida, I think it was.
Right, but they have one weekend at the festival where you can do it.
I think it was more than one.
No,
no,
that's what they said last night. It was one weekend during the festival that people at the festival could do it.
Right. No, but I think I remember that video. That was from the WDW couple.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when they talked with them, they were doing 2 weekends at the festival. One was that weekend, and then they were doing another one toward the end of the festival.
Okay.
But I don't remember for sure. That could have been something I caught with Tim Tracker as well.
That's true.
But in any case, it's another one of those. They bring in all of these community awareness kind of things, whether it's a charity or I think they had like friends of one of the trail systems, come in and talk about it at one point.
That's pretty cool.
So they have a lot of those kind of things that you can.
So any of these topiaries for sale are just like those chia ones? Because
the big ones aren't for sale. They don't.
I want to bring home an orange tree. We have a fig tree. Why not have an orange tree?
We don't have the room in the condo for.
Why not? Tree. Just move some of the books.
And it wouldn't live outside.
No, inside. We have a fig tree. We had 5 figs this year. 4 of them were eaten. 1 of them I dropped outside and it got frozen and was nasty.
Yes,
I tried bringing it to work. I had it in my hand and then I didn't when I got to my car and I couldn't find it. And I found it 2 days later in that little crack under the step.
Okay, so what about the concerts?
Concerts?
Yes, they have concerts at the Flower and Garden Festival.
I don't think I made it to that one. I have no idea.
I don't think we've seen any of the vlogs that actually talk about it because, well, it's copyrighted music and you can't put that on
But
YouTube.
they can say, I guess you can.
They talk about it.
They did a lot of eating and drinking.
Yeah.
There's some things I want to try, but I mean, really a lot of drinking.
All right, well, let's move on to the food then.
Okay.
Because there is a lot of good food.
There is, but they were tasting. They had like a cider fleet. Is that what you call it?
Flight.
Thank you. Don't know why I keep wanting to call it a fleet. Cider flight. And they had a black cherry mimosa one that sounded yummy. There was a whole bunch of others. There was like pineapple. And
which we've tried a pineapple one. The pineapple one was really good.
Black cherry, I think, would be yummy.
Yeah, I think it could be good or a little
gross.
Too much. Yeah.
I think a cinnamon one would be good. Like tastes like hot damn or something like that.
Yeah, we've had the cinnamon cider from Angry Orchard.
Oh, that's true.
They had the
and they were always eating on trash cans. Why do people eat
you
on
always
trash
do
cans?
that at
there's like
Epcot.
Tabletop?
Yeah, because there's no tables.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, they also had a pineapple slushy thing.
Yes. Yeah, there's usually some like really good tropical fruit kind of stuff.
Ooh.
So I definitely want to try that.
Yes. Is there what's the thing? It's not ice cream. The
gelato?
No. Special to Disney usually.
Dole Whip. Yeah.
Did they make that into a drink?
I think they had at the Food and Wine Festival they had a Dole Whip specialty dessert. I don't think it was just a drink.
Okay.
No, I think it was just a drink, but it was like a vodka with Dole Whip.
That could be interesting.
So they do have some of that kind of stuff.
That could be interesting.
Yeah.
And they had, I know you don't like them, but amazing macaroons. Not macaroons like you get at Passover, not the coconut kind, the French kind.
Yeah, the
really super yummy ones. This one was like, it was a cookie. It was also dipped in chocolate. I don't know, like half dipped, so it was all pretty, but it was like this big.
Well, one of the things I really
I'd be happy with one if I had one that big.
One of the things I really like about these festivals is you get a lot of the little food.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to get enough to really make a full meal out of it.
Which is fine.
So you can go around and get a whole bunch.
Right.
And they have like the sliders that I wanted to try. They have, unfortunately, a lot of pork sliders, which doesn't agree with my stomach. But they had a pulled chicken. Yes, we did. They had a lot of the pulled chicken kind of stuff.
I can do that.
They had some really amazing looking salads. Lots and lots of good desserts.
Oh my gosh. It was like sugar craziness.
Now, the one catch is if we understand the way that the dining plan works, we can actually take a meal credit and turn it into 3 snacks.
That could be a problem.
Well, no, that's good.
It's good, but it could be a problem.
You have to, from what we can tell, use it at the same place.
Right. So you have to go one place and get 3 things.
Yes. And in most cases, those Food and Wine Festival type stands don't necessarily have 3 snack type things that I want to get.
Right. So hopefully you like one, but then you might as well get a meal, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know because I'm just worried. I mean, I think Epcot will be okay. But I'm just worried about like carnival food and food I'm not going to eat.
Well, and there's a lot of this food that we're going to want to try and throw away. So I do expect that we'll end up buying and dumping some of this food just because we can't necessarily get it all on the food plan, on the dining plan. And a lot of it, we know we're going to go into it. We want to try it, but it's not something we're going to want to eat all the way.
Okay. Fair enough.
We'll have a few bites and okay, that was
so we'll be doing a lot of drinking.
Yeah, we might be doing a lot of drinking too.
That's funny. I don't think we tried drinking wine when we first got together.
Yeah, we're lightweights.
That's very long. Yeah, we are kind of lightweight.
Yeah. Well, it was hard for us to find stuff like that we like. I like, a couple of beers, not a lot of beers, but like why can I not remember the name of it now? The one that Mark turned me on to.
Oh gosh, I can picture it.
Yeah, I can picture it too. It's like I want to call it New Boston, and that's totally wrong.
I was going to call it something none.
Oh no. But I also like the.
It's white something, isn't it?
No. It's a amber.
I know, but
ale.
isn't it? I don't remember what it's called.
Actually, I think it's a brown. But I like the amber ales a lot of the time.
I like the ciders.
Like the big fat tire. Amber is one of them that I really like. I like the ciders too, but the ciders sometimes are just a little much.
Yeah, and I like beer to a point. I mean, I like something like a Stella, which is honestly probably between a beer and a cider. Stella Artois. I really like that one a lot.
Yeah, I cannot do an IPA. It gives me such indigestion.
Stella's not an IPA.
No, I'm saying just as far as beers go, I cannot do an IPA because it gives me just this really terrible indigestion.
Well, I have some issues when it's like too much. I don't know if it's the hops or if it's the malt.
Yeah.
I can't do it. But I think that's why I like cider better.
But the interesting thing about this festival over food and wine, from what I've been told, is you tend to have better, healthier options here.
Okay.
Which I find intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really kind of geared more toward stuff that you would possibly do yourself at home.
Oh, so give us ideas and come home and stay healthy.
It's not the stuff that you will make at home, but it's the stuff that will give you some ideas.
Okay.
Because it's all like that fresh stuff.
Okay.
It's intended to be, fresh from the garden. I'm sure
it's the garden festival.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not all that way.
It's going to be a lot of tomatoes.
That's a whole lot of people that they have to
that's true.
Bring in meals for, essentially.
Yes.
That's too much production. And you know that some of the produce that they actually grow in the greenhouse does get served at the restaurants in
the
food pavilion.
That's fun.
Or the land pavilion. But it's such a small percentage. The chances are, from what I understand, that you'll actually get any of the lettuce or whatever in your salad is virtually none.
Oh.
They can't produce anywhere close to enough food in their greenhouse.
There's like millions of people that come, so.
Yeah, well, you're talking about tens of thousands of people a day go through the park, and how many of those stop at one of those restaurants to eat?
Lots.
Yeah, and how much are they consuming?
Right.
It's a surprising amount of food. I would love to get one of those backstage numbers kind of things, videos showing us how they do that and what they're actually doing.
That would be fun.
I'm sure it's just going to floor you as far as what they're actually producing there.
Are we doing any behind the scenes stuff?
This time we are not.
Okay. There's not really any time to if we want to see everything.
No, we're only there for 5 days.
We should stay longer.
We should. But getting the time off work was a problem.
But it might not be, for me. But
yeah, now you're going to have a different problem.
We hope.
Hopefully, yeah.
We hope. I might have a whole nother week off. I could stay in.
Yes, I don't.
Maybe. Well, you can work remotely. I can stay and be a chaperone for my nephew's band. I don't know.
Yeah.
High school band. Nope. This one time at band camp, I think I'll pass.
Sounds like a good plan.
Anyway, so it's about that time. Thank you for watching, especially those of you watching live and sending the comments in the chat. And if you have any more to share after the live show, please drop those in the comments below and make sure to subscribe to our channel. Just click on that little bell icon and get the notifications when we go live. And we should be back next week. We don't have anything in particular that we're looking to talk about yet, but we'll figure something out. Yeah, there is no shortage of subjects. And the question really becomes, are we going to get enough time to actually go through the My Disney Experience app? Because that we have to learn and talk about. We really have to learn about that. And isn't it almost time for us to start signing up for... and that would be why we really need to do the My Disney Experience stuff. So we can what is it called? Book our Fast Passes. Book our Fast Passes. Yes. Thank you. I must be tired. Yeah. Well, and that might be what we do is go back through our list of attractions and try to figure out which ones we want to get the Fast Passes for. Because you're only allowed one... like e-ticket attraction, one big one. You know what? they told me in physical therapy, he goes, you might want to talk to your doctor because when you go to Disney, you can sometimes, if they say you can't stand for a certain amount of time, you can get a handicap pass and go, and everybody who's with you gets to go.
No, they changed the way that works.
Cheating, but
yeah, they had people gaming the system.
Oh,
one of the things that they actually had was like for hire handicap people.
For what?
For hire. You could, if you had a party of like 8 people or something, you could hire someone in a wheelchair to go with you.
Okay.
And get you that fast pass access. So now what they're doing.
Now that's really cheating.
Yes.
I'm just thinking about what it would be like to stand in line for hours.
Right.
And then walk
but
miles.
You can do that. But what they're doing now is if you do have something like that, they'll give you essentially a fast pass for whatever that time is plus the wait time.
Interesting. Okay. So you don't have to stand there,
you go through a shorter line.
Okay.
So yeah, I like that idea. I think that's a great way to handle it.
I could talk. I don't know. We'll see.
Well,
I'm hoping that I don't need to feel that way.
Right. It's probably something you should talk to the doctor about.
Probably.
Just in case.
Probably.
And we'll try not to use it.
Right.
But if we need to, at least we have
something.
Yeah. So that might be something that you look into.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to cheat. I don't want to cheat the system, but I'm thinking about, I also don't want to be miserable after just standing still.
Well, it's a matter of, this is the most walking and standing that we're probably going to do all year long.
Right.
We're going to do a lot more walking.
Mm-hmm.
We might do a little bit more standing.
But I mean, as it stands right now, I do better at walking than I do at standing.
Yeah.
So
totally different things.
Absolutely.
Oh, so maybe that's going to be our thing for next year. And of course, as we're trying to, for next show, but as we're trying to wrap this up, we get another viewer. So thank you for joining us. But yeah, we're on our way out. Make sure to tune in next week when we talk about something that we
feel free to let us know who you are.
Yes, go ahead and punch you in the chat what you're doing. But
and if you have anything that you think we should talk about that you'd find interesting, please let us know. Because as you know, as we try to wrap up things, we find more things to talk about. That's just the nature of it.
Never any shortage. But also, if you're new to the channel, you might want to go back and check out some of the older episodes to learn stuff about us, including the one where we talked about the wedding and how we met and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. I was talking about it today.
Oh, no.
I know.
I'm just pointing people to the video now. It's easier. Oh, not really.
Wow.
Okay.
Fine.
Thanks again. We'll see you next week.